Hello and welcome to another episode of Geekgo. As far as you can see, all the episodes sort of kinda link with each other. So today we're gonna look at more Thomas the Tank Engine, but today's gonna be the top 10 Thomas the Tank Engine episodes. Well, I'm not gonna do it, so I'm gonna get Steven to do it.
Hello.
Hey, Steven, you hear me on the phone, webcam, or whatever, however we're gonna talk in this magical land?
Who's this? How do you know my name?
It's me, Geekgo.
What? Didn't I create you or something?
Nah, I created you.
But I'm looking at your set right now.
That's just silly. I mean, look, there's a set of you right here. I want you to do a top 10 episode list of Thomas the Tank Engine. Can you do that?
I guess so?
Good. See you later. Bye. Well, I better get on to it. With this top 10 list, I'm only going to look at the first 4 seasons of Thomas and Friends. Why? Because season 4 is the last season that included anything adapted from the Railway series. So the rest of them sort of just left from the original stories and were created by other people. While there's nothing wrong with that, I'll choose to stick with the classics for now with this top 10 list. So anyway, let's get right to it. Number 10. The Flying Kipper from Season 1. By this point in the series, Henry has already gone through quite a few mistakes and sad episodes, mostly because he's ill all the time until they finally found the right call for him. So by now you're really hoping that something good will come his way. And in a way it does, but he does go through another accident first, which makes you feel really sorry for him. He crashes again, but since he has to go to the workshop anyway, they decide that they'll change his tinderbox so he can use normal code just like any other engine. So finally Henry gets a chance like any other engine, a fair chance to be a useful engine like the rest of them. Number 9. Off the Rails from Season 1. Now this episode is pretty cool because Gordon is a big engine and he's almighty and all that, but here we get to see him fall into a ditch, which is already funny, but then you get these kids teasing him.
Silly old Gordon fell in a ditch, all on a Monday morning.
It's much like how the audience would react to such a silly engine and such a mighty engine. You get a chance to tease him because you can't do a thing about it. This is why this episode is here. Because, much like them, I was laughing at Gordon. Number 8. Old Iron from Season 2. Now, with a lot of the other engines, they've already have their paired up episodes. Thomas and Gordon, for example, and many episodes of Thomas and Percy together. So I kind of felt like there should be one with Edward and James, because, let's face it, both of them look very similar in size and shape. And finally we get one episode which Edward also deserves, while at the same time it's nice to pair these two together in their own episode. Edward also proves himself that he's just as strong as the younger and more bright James. Not only that, I guess you can say this episode is pretty action-packed as well. 2 trains racing side by side in order to get the other one to stop. I think that's pretty intense for a kid show anyway. So Edward, no matter how old you get, we'll still love you for being wise and being smart and being genuinely useful. Number 7. All at Sea from Season 3. Now this episode isn't actually that special at the start. Not too much happens. Percy and Duck work at the quarry. Duck talks about wanting to be able to go into the ocean. And then the biggest event in this is that they help take some injured person to the hospital. So not too much here. But what gets me is this final shot of the episode. It just simply looks beautiful, and there's just something about it that I keep remembering. It's like an imprint of that image in my mind that will stick to me forever. Again, if they can evoke such a strong emotion from just some face engines, then well done for them. A strong silhouette for a strong emotion. Number 6. Dirty Objects from Season 1. Now, other engines before James have been pushed down this mountain by the troublesome trucks, but with this episode it's something different because James actually crashes into not only just trucks but also tar, which is a black substance. Now, as a kid, black goo is kind of scary because black relates to darkness, the shadows, the lights off. And having James as such a bright red engine being covered out in black goo, it's like the solar opposite. It's like a big contrast. The other thing I like about this episode is that Toby and Percy are the heroes of the episode, and I like both those engines. One's really cheeky, which is kind of like me, and one's just really nice engine that you just cheer for all the time. Well, that's all I have to say for this episode. Just stay away from black goo. Number 5, A Close Shave and Thomas Comes to Breakfast, both from Season 1. Now, the reason why I put both these episodes together is that they're very similar in pattern and humour. Both engines crash into a house with someone actually inside it, which you think about, is actually quite dangerous and scary if that actually happened. But what makes these episodes special is the response from both people. In A Close Shave, after the duck crashes into a barbershop, the barber's like, I'm gonna make you pay by putting shaving cream on you. Yeah. And with Thomas Comes to Breakfast, after he smashes their house, the woman is like, now I've got to cook new breakfast. Get your priorities right, lady. Your house is falling apart and you can think about just cooking breakfast. I find those two quite funny and quite humorous. Of course, both engines get a good end after that, so it's all good. So yeah, don't come crashing into people's houses, because they might not actually act normal. Number 4. Toby and the Scout Gentleman from Season 1. Now, the reason I like this episode so much is that in such a short time for an episode, they make you care, and then they make you feel bad for this one engine that you've never heard of before. Toby is introduced in this episode, and instantly you feel sad for what's happening to his branch line. Things are getting smaller, and eventually closes down. That scene with his last journey of everyone cheering is genuinely quite sad, and you want something good to happen to him. And while it does at the end, overall, if they can make you feel for a new engine, a new character within 5 minutes, I say they've done a good job there. Toby and the Scout Gentleman. Something to make you feel. Number 3. Brake Fan from Season 2. Now, just like the Toby's episode, much like the episode with Toby, two engines are introduced here and things just go wrong for them. The Fat Controller needs only one new engine, and these twins come along, and you're thinking, well, who's he's gonna pick? Overall, the entire episode, you don't get an answer, and you're gonna watch another episode to find out, similar to old serial movies in the past. Within the 5-minute runtime, not only do they make you care for one new engine that you've never heard or seen before, they make you care for two. That's some powerful stuff right there. Another cool thing about this episode is that you get to see a cheeky brake fan pretty much killed. That's pretty awesome. Brake Fan. This is one of those Thomas the Tank Engine episodes that made me love big and black things. No, wait. Number 2. Henry's Forest from Season 3. Now, this episode is about Henry loving this forest, but then a storm comes along and damages it, so they have to fix it. What I like most about this episode is that it doesn't get preachy on you about saving nature and all that. It just tells you to appreciate nature around you. Like, there's good things about it, but we don't force you, we don't teach you to tell what to do with it. Just have a look, see if you enjoy it or not. I also like how this episode makes Henry's character grow a little bit more. You get to see his more sensitive side, his want for peace. My only gripe is that it seems that all the saddest episodes go to Henry. Yes, he gets the good side at the end, but he has to go through all these sadness. Henry's tunnel, Henry getting sick all the time, Henry crashing to get the new coal. You get my point. And here, not only Henry is sad, all the other engines are sad for him as well. Especially sad. So, we're not forcing you to save the forest, but check it out. You might find some inner peace after all.
Now, I did say that this is the top 10 list of seasons 1 to 4, but so far none of the season 4 episodes have made it. But here's the top episode, and it comes from season 4.
Number 1. Toad Stands By from season 4. Now, here's why I like this episode so much. First of all, we got character progression. Oliver is an engine who was saved from scrap. That episode probably would have taken the 11th spot, but anyway, he was saved from scrap and he was learning how to deal with trucks. In the previous episode, he fell down a turntable. And here we get to see him learning how to deal with the trucks. But what makes this episode so special is that the trucks finally gets what's coming to them properly. Yes, sure, before this, when trucks cause accidents, they become part of the accidents to get hurt as well. But here, a truck actually gets defeated. And, well, gets smashed to pieces. As a kid, you really hate those trucks because you like Thomas, you like his friends, and they always get messed up by these trucks, and you really, really want to see something really bad happen to these trucks. And finally, this happens in this episode. So not only does Oliver's storyline get developed, you also get to see the best moments of Thomas' history. While not much actually happens in this episode, my god, it is so nice to see karma come around to the troublesome trucks.
Now, I might do another top 10 list for seasons 5 to season 12, but I don't feel that emotionally attached to them, because they weren't the ones I saw as a kid. They were like later on when I was growing up a little bit. Well, I still like them because I like model trains, and it's nice to see model trains go around, and, keep seeing Thomas and his friends and all that. Yeah, not that big of an impact on me. And don't even get me started on anything beyond season 12, because season 12 was... It makes sense to have some digital elements for the faces to finally, speak and talk and stuff. Not that, like, spooky wink from the video games. But after that, when it was all full CGI, and the different voices were voiced by children... I mean, yeah, you can get good children actor. Like, I like Charlie Brown. I like Peanuts. The kids do good work there, but in Thomas, it's just... so... And don't even get me started on those pre and after episode segments of some like station master doing crafts and stuff, because that's not Thomas. That's a different show. That's like, I know it's Saturday morning kids show thing, but that's like BBC Morning, not Thomas. If I see Thomas, I expect to see a train on a track doing train stuff. So that's my top 10 list. Feel free to discuss. This is my personal opinion, so don't get angry about it. Except I am always right on these lists. If you don't agree, troll me.